feeling cold against your skin. Running through the chaos, letting all the sin. Temptation in a bottle, ready for the night. Craving for the thrill, it's time to ignite. Dark desires burning bright, echoes in the dead of night. No retreat, no looking back on this heart attack.
Hey, good to see you all for this late show today. It has been a crazy 24 hours. Had updates on like every case imaginable. Okay, not every case imaginable, but many cases, including yesterday when we brought you Aaron Patterson's appeal grounds live on this channel, breaking news, national news, international breaking news. No one had heard it before we aired it on this channel. So you guys got like for real breaking news. So that was pretty cool. And tonight we have a bunch of stories, including Christopher Scholtes has passed away. I'll go into that a bit more later. There's a bombshell new update in a case that sort of went very quiet for about a year, but has suddenly picked up this afternoon in Australia, in New South Wales. I'll talk about that in a minute too. And we have a little bit more about Joanna Brown out of the USA, missing woman found in her SUV. We'll talk a bit more about that when I can as well. But first off, I want to go to the very first story that is sort of happening right now. Just in the last hour, there has been an update for this story right here. This one. So this is Claire Austin. Now you might go, Ping, who is Claire Austin? And I'll say we covered this way back when it happened. I can't remember myself when it happened. Was it this year? I thought it was last year. It must have been this year. It says 6 months after the incident. This was a woman who ran through a glass door in her apartment, and she severed her arm and died. And there was some very suspicious circumstances surrounding the case. It was like, well, did someone push her? Did someone hurt her? What happened in that apartment and what caused her to go through that plate glass? I think it was like a dividing door, and she went through it and cut her arm open, and she did not survive. She died. Well, today, charges have been laid against her partner, Lee Robert Lachlan. He has been arrested and he's been taken to Maroubra police station for questioning before being admitted to a mental health facility for several days. Okay, that happened after her death, and they're saying here he was arrested by officers at a home in Little Bay following a police investigation almost half a year later, and they're saying he remains in custody at this time, and they're looking into how Miss Austin was injured. So this is sort of like the sort of first movement we've seen for Claire Austin in a while. It's We all sort of thought something had gone on at the time. We were like, "Hey, why would this woman run through a glass door, cutting her arm open and dying in such a horrific death?" And it seems like they're slowly sort of winding this down to the partner. The fact that he was arrested seems like maybe some charges might be forthcoming. The incident that happened at the home, they were having a disagreement. That's how that's how they labeled it, a disagreement. They were having a disagreement at the time, and somehow she ended up cutting her arm open and dying a few days later after the injury that she had. And it's taken this long for any movement in it. So I hope this is taking us to an arrest, well, he's been arrested, but 2 charges. I hope we're going to get to that point. It doesn't say here that he has been charged. Here's a photo of him. This is Lachlan here, and he was arrested, but that's all we know right now. We'll see if they put charges in. But I remember this story when it happened. The witnesses from that apartment block were like, they heard screaming and yelling from the apartment. There had been known to be sort of domestic situations that happened within that apartment. They said this guy had a very horrible history with her too, including, look, at the time they said there was something like not stalking, but just harassment is probably the word I would use. Harassment between him and her. And yeah. So after half a year, we're finally getting a bit of movement in this particular case. Rachel said, I remember the neighbors saying they heard fighting. They heard a scream, a woman scream too. Here it says here, I heard the woman at first and it worried me. Then I heard the man. I think I heard a crash. Then I didn't hear the woman again. The neighbor added he then heard a man screaming, somebody help me, over and over. He said the crashing sound and the woman going quiet. Someone had then called 000, and soon afterwards an ambulance arrived, and so did the police. After being told the woman would not survive her injuries, her family flew over from the UK to Sydney and arrived just hours before she ended up passing away. So, really, really horrible crime. Well, what seems like possibly a crime. And there was things like this. A AVO had been taken out by police on behalf of Miss Austin, and it was against that partner, Lee Robert Lachlan. And they're saying that there must be a reason why they took out that AVO. And what was he doing in this apartment if they had an AVO out between the two? Why was he even there? So, if the police thought that there was such violence within their relationship that they needed to take out an AVO, what was going on prior to that? But yeah, apparently Lachlan was taken to a mental health facility after her death for several days. I don't know what to tell you about that except for strange. And they're saying here Claire reportedly ran through a glass door between a bedroom and a sunroom at the Randwick flat in Sydney's eastern suburbs on April 12th of this year. So I don't think she was unconscious. I think they were having an argument. Something caused her to go through that door that had glass in it. It cut her arm. She was taken to hospital and died a few days later, but I don't know anything else between that. So, Claire Austin, hey, if this is a break that we need to finally lay some charges, that would be great. I think to have it gone this quiet for this long, it's nice to see it not be forgotten. What are they saying here? Yeah, so they describe Lee as her ex-boyfriend. The other article described it as her partner, but that doesn't jive with the AVO. And in this article that I have here, it describes it as ex-boyfriend. So, and they said here, yeah, police applied for an apprehended violence order on behalf of Austin, which was due to be heard on April 17. So only days after she died, she was due to be in court to have this AVO uh, like put before and see if it could be certified. So that's what they were looking at doing. Kathy said, "Did you say he went to a mental health facility after her death for a period of time?" I meant, did she say he did it before? I don't know. I'm not sure about what was going on in their relationship, but there is a suggestion that she was either fleeing, and you can see it here. Sydney woman dies after running through glass door to flee alleged attacker. Either she was fleeing or he pushed her through the door. I don't know which one. Chipmunk said, I think this will be hard to prove if they were fighting and she left to run, but then didn't see the glass door, or he pushed her, or she tripped. How can it be proven? I think it depends on what situation they go with. If he's at the property when she didn't want him there, breaking this interim AVO, then you have a case there of a ex-partner violating an order. Like, that's a pretty serious thing, and they could build the case in a way that they're saying that he is a sort of an attached ex-boyfriend, won't leave her alone, is harassing her, stalking her, coming to her place where she lives, that type of thing. So I think you could build the case in that way. And they're saying here, okay, New South Wales police do expect to charge him over her death at some point today. So some point today, he will be charged over her death. And they're saying here, following extensive inquiries, investigators attended a home at Little Bay and arrested a 44-year-old man about 9 a.m. today. That's all they gave us. But sounds like they're gonna push to put charges on him sometime today after he's been interviewed. And yeah, good work. Finally, this woman will the wheels of justice will start turning, and hopefully her family will get their day in court to face the person who killed their daughter. Really, killed their daughter by either forcing her to flee, pushed her, gave her no option but to go in that direction. They're all interconnected. But yeah, she lacerated an artery in her arm when she tried to force her way through a sliding door in her top floor Randwick unit on the evening of April 12th this year. Brutal, really, really horrible way to die. And sounds like she was days away from having that order put into place permanently. So it's really, really sad. Like, it's like 3 days. Maybe if she had got there, they could have done the AVO and helped her a little bit more. Kathy said, do you think he will use mental illness defense? I don't know. I mean, the fact that he went to a mental hospital, I don't think should play any part into him being charged with the crime. Multiple people need mental health help after being involved in something like this, whether they are the perpetrator or a victim. You know, he could be so mentally unwound because of his offending that he needed mental health help. So I don't know. It depends. But good news. Hopefully, we'll get an update to this at some point in the next 24 hours. So he's in custody right now. They are not putting him back out in the public right now. He is in the police station being interviewed. So hopefully, we'll hear of charges being laid, and we'll go to the next point with this particular one. Hey, good to see you all. Hey, good to see you. All right, what else have we got? Christopher Scholtes. All right, this absolute loser decided that he would chicken out of serving his time in jail and took the easy way out and took his own life today. He was supposed to go in as part of his plea agreement and give himself up to be arrested and put into custody. Instead, he didn't appear. They got worried. They found out that he had injured himself at his property and passed away. So he was due in court today, didn't make it up to court, and they found him dead in his home. So yeah, I'm going to bring you an update from the Pima County attorney, Laura Canova, and this is their statement here. I'm going to bring it to you here.
Because we have received so many media inquiries this morning, I will deliver the following information to the best of our ability and knowledge at this hour on the case that has to do with the 2-year-old baby girl who was left in a hot car in Marana last July and lost her life. Due to the extensive and detailed investigation by detectives at the Marana Police Department, for which I am extremely grateful, it was discovered that this baby girl had been left in a hot car on a day that reached approximately 109 degrees for over 3 hours while in the care of her father. Thereafter, due to the extremely hard and diligent work by veteran homicide prosecutors Haley Weigold and Brad Terrace, a Pima County grand jury returned an indictment against that father for first-degree murder based on the child abuse that they found had occurred. We expected to be in court this morning because the father had accepted a plea agreement to second-degree murder, which could have carried as much as 30 years in prison. But instead of coming in to take account for what has occurred here, we have been informed and we have confirmed that the father took his own life last night. This is obviously extraordinarily complicated, and we extend our deepest sympathies and sorrow to all the loved ones who have suffered the loss of this beautiful baby girl and now another loss to his family. This little girl's voice was nearly silenced because justice was not served appropriately this morning. But it has not and will not be silenced due to the hard work of the people who work here at the Pima County Attorney's Office. Just this hour, our prosecutors, our senior victim advocate, drove out to Marana to personally deliver the news to our next of kin victim representative, the little girl's grandmother, who again we extend our deepest sympathy to. And now I want to end by speaking directly for a moment to our little girl's older sisters, who I have not had the chance to meet. May you be surrounded by love. May you receive all of the support you deserve and need, and then some. May you know and believe that you can survive and thrive. I have proof. There are prosecutors and victim advocates and all kinds of people who work in this building who have been working on cases like this for nearly decades. And they've watched people like you survive and thrive and are now living here in our community as successful and happy.
It's a bit over the top, this end bit. It sounds like she's doing a dramatic reading of this. She's like, you can thrive. I'm hope and May. And just tell us what's going on. Just give us the information. You can say all this stuff to the other children that are surviving, but it doesn't need to be like this. Just give us the facts, please. You can say that, your heart and sympathy go out to the family and the two surviving children, but what is this like it's all about me moment at the end there? Because that's what it was. It was almost like a look at me moment. Here is my chance to give you this big dramatic ending to my speech here. Just give us the facts and go back to doing your job, please. Um, yeah, I thought it was a bit odd. I'm not gonna play the rest. She can be quiet. Kathy said, yeah, I thought it was odd. Me too. Chipmunk said, how many times he probably told his wife to stop nagging him about leaving the kids in the car and being a crappy guy. I bet he was thinking about that and then some. Look, this guy is not a good guy. He deserved every moment in that jail cell that he was going to get. And the fact that he plea bargained, got the plea bargain, whittled it down to the time in jail that he got, and then at the very last moment decided to take this action to avoid it, I think it says everything you need to know about Christopher Scholtes. He is someone who can't own up to anything. He's someone who is unable to see the seriousness in what he's done and takes the easy way out of everything. It's everything: looking after the kids, doing his prison time, putting the child in the car, driving when he's not drinking, all sorts of things. And I think it's a perfect way to encapsulate the person that he was. Really, I think that's the perfect way. If you go, oh, who was Christopher Scholtes? And then you read about it, you go, oh, okay, I think that's, a pretty good description of him. Just seems to dog responsibility at every turn. And I don't have any sympathy for him. I don't care that he's gone. I care that his child died in such horrific circumstances, basically cooked alive in that vehicle. Someone said in chat, 130 degrees Fahrenheit. That's what they believe it got up to, or more. There was some estimates that it was 130 plus in that vehicle. Could have been, because Arizona was going through a heat wave at the time, and it was just boiling hot everywhere. That little girl died in it. Just a horrific death, really horrific. Basically boiled alive from her own blood and water in her body, boiled her. Kathy said, did his wife stay with him after the child's death? She did. She stayed with him, supported him, and even got him out of jail, got him out on bail, and wrote a very soppy love letter to the judge, basically saying he needs to come home so we can bury our children together. And I question why you would want that guy anywhere near your children after he killed one of them. So I don't, I have very little sympathy for her either. I think she needs to have a good hard look at herself and put her children first, not her relationship with him. Now he's gone. Hopefully she'll do that. Rachel said, Kathy, did you guys? Yeah, they went on vacation earlier this year. He got his bail conditions altered so that he could go on holiday to Hawaii. Does that seem like a guy who's really taking it seriously about his court and the trial and things like that? He went to the judge to say, "Can I please go on holiday?" Seems like a great guy. It was all his fault. It was. Kathy said the mum needs counseling. She needs something. Betsy said she is a professional. I feel bad for her remaining children. She's a doctor. Gayla said, I missed the beginning. Do we know how he died? I don't know. I've heard a few things, including someone said that he what's the way I can do it? That he took many of one thing, is the way I can say it on YouTube. He took many of one item, and that's what he did. But I don't know if that's true. I've just heard that going around that's what he did. All right, I'll take you to News 4 in Tucson to give you their update on it too.
Jacob, a Marana father who pleaded guilty to murdering his daughter in a hot car has died just before he was to be taken into custody today. Today, Pima County Attorney Laura Conover said Christopher Scholtes took his own life. Scholtes had accepted a plea deal for second-degree murder and child abuse. He was given 2 weeks out of custody before he would go to jail for the death of his daughter, Parker, last July. Now, this morning, Scholtes did not show up in Pima County Superior Court. The judge reaffirmed Scholtes' sentencing date on the 21st. It's unclear now how sentencing will go since he is dead. Phoenix police are still investigating his death. Be sure to catch News 4 Tucson's chief investigative reporter, Course Nylander, next on Inside Edition, covering Scholtes at 6:30.
Welcome to Earbusiness.
All right, we're not going to watch Rhett and Link. I'm sorry. We're not going to watch Ear Biscuits with Rhett and Link. Gail said, where was his wife and kids? That is a good question. Kathy said the newswoman's yellow top was blinding. That's true. Woman of Steel. Hey, good to see you. Good to see you. You would not forgive that. I question how you can forgive someone for killing your own child, but I don't know. Don't ask me. Ask her. Uh, Let me see what else I can find for you. But yeah, he was due in court today. They were all sort of they were sitting in court going, where is he? Even his own legal team was like, he was supposed to be here like 15 minutes ago. And they then got a note handed up basically saying that they found him at his home. Chipmunk said, I get mad at the car stories. I'm absent-minded, but could never do that. You go somewhere, no, it's not absent-minded though. He did it deliberately. There's a difference between, like, say, the other story we heard of where the guy was going to work, thought he dropped the kid off and didn't, and then just drove to work and left the kid in the hot car for 8 hours. It's slightly different. He knew, Christopher knew that the child was in the car because he deliberately left her in there because she liked sleeping in the car or whatever, like just some really crappy excuse. Gayla said, you would think they would stay close the night before he went to jail. Or they were in on it. Or they knew he was going to do that, and that was the plan the whole time. That's why they went to Hawaii. That's why they had all these like family events leading up to the court day. Could be. So maybe they knew he was going to do that. But yeah, he is apparently his records have turned up on the county coroner. That's how some of the media found out. They didn't find out from the court. They actually found out from the Maricopa County coroner records. And when they looked it up, they found that his name was listed on the county coroner's website. That's how a lot of the media confirmed that he had died, not because of there was a press release or something like that. It's because they found him on the coroner database. Woman of Steel said his wife told him not to do it at least a couple of times. For years, she told him not to do it. Betsy said Lazy F couldn't be inconvenienced by his own child. Nah, he had to go watch Corn, and apparently that's what he was doing. He was looking up Corn when he was in the house, playing PlayStation and looking up naked ladies. Chipmunk said plenty of parents will use a car seat, but it's inside. That is true. Rachel said he was busy with other things. Yeah, looking up naked ladies, apparently. I mean, we all get busy doing that sometimes, but not when there's a child in a 109 degree car. So he did plead guilty. He did have a plea deal, and he was supposed to serve a whole chunk of time. I think it was 20 years in jail. And he decided that he did not want to do that, and he did not want to surrender to authorities to be put in custody, and decided to just run away from his problems for a final time. This guy makes me so mad because he's just a, a word I can't say. Here you go. There you go. You could see him listed on the coroner website earlier today. That's how they figured out he was not alive anymore. So he even has a case number. So there you go. That's how they did that. Possibly. SPMO said this was one she fought cases. She fought, yes. I jumped in on your channel. I remember the glass cutting lady. Oh yeah, I think you're behind. I think she's on the first story. Woman of Steel said, what was his other kids doing while he was watching Corn? I have no idea. I don't know. Hold on. All right. Yeah, let me take you out to where's AZ family?
Police department.
Yeah. So what do they say here? That he was found dead around 5 a.m. Wednesday near his home on 7th and Northern Avenue. Police said it is S-word type of death, and he was supposed to turn himself in by the end of the day, according to authorities. So he did not. He did not. So his plea held a sentence of no more than 30 years in prison for both counts. He was slated to be sentenced on November 21. So there you go. There you go. Supposed to be sentenced later this month, and we never got there. I think it was going to be something like 20 years from what I remember. Gail said they weren't home, I don't think. Chipmunk said Kathy's. Yeah, all right. All right, that is your update with that. That is your update with Mr. Christopher Scholtes. He is no longer with the land of the living. He is gone. Good riddance. Hopefully, we don't have to talk about him anymore. All right. I want to talk to you about a story from 2022, and it was a murder from back then. Apparently, they have a new confession, and now an arrest warrant has been issued for a man who investigators believe manipulated his then girlfriend into shooting her ex-lover. So it's like a three-way type thing where this new partner told his girlfriend to go and kill her ex-partner. And they're saying here, Cordero has been charged with murder. Now, I'm going to play something for you so we can all get caught up on it. But a very strange case. He influenced someone else to commit a murder. Now they're holding him accountable for that crime. All right, I think it's a very short video. Let's play.
New here at 4, investigators are on the hunt for a man wanted in connection to a 2022 killing in Platte County. Cordero Cervantes is charged with the murder of Taylor Hopkins. Cervantes was initially arrested more than 3 years ago, along with Michaela Archambault, after they tried to flee the state and run from police. Cervantes is accused of manipulating the now 25-year-old woman into shooting Hopkins behind a barn after she cheated on him. That is according to a confession that she gave to police back in September. She has pleaded guilty to multiple charges, including second-degree murder and armed criminal action, and expects to be sentenced in the next 10 days.
So not only destroyed the life of the person he shot, destroyed his partner's life and now his life as well. The ideas that people get into their head, right? It's very odd. Yeah, a arrest warrant issued for 2022 murder after new confession. There's Cordero there in the photo for you. And they're saying that they have issued that arrest warrant. And they're saying they're looking for him. So they're saying he's been charged with murder, though. And in a probable cause statement filed by the county sheriff, revealed that on June 28, 2022, law enforcement officials were called to the area of the 28,000 Oberdike line outside of Farley. They're saying a witness reported that his friend Taylor Hawkins had been shot behind a barn on the property. Witnesses claim that the only individuals present were himself, the victim, and the two others. They're saying, however, after the shooting, he ran in fear for his own life. Witnesses told investigators that he and Hawkins had been at the property unloading boxes into his vehicle, which he had left there days beforehand. During the unloading process, a witness told law enforcement that an argument broke out between Cordero and Hawkins. That's when they walked to the backside of the barn to talk. Ultimately, the witness alleged that he heard a gunshot before Hawkins said, "No, why'd you do it?" And when Cordero reappeared, he had a smirk on his face. So after shooting the person, he had a smirk on his face. Got to watch out unloading boxes. It could be a setup for you to be killed, apparently. Yeah, so investigators... So the woman in all this the one who had the ex-partner, the ex-partner is the one who was killed. She said that she had slept with Hawkins a week before the killing and that Cordero had been angry and made me kill him. What? What is wrong with these people? Why did you have to sleep with him a week beforehand if you've got a new partner? What is going on in your world where you apparently have a new boyfriend and you're still sleeping with the other one? It's almost like you brought it on yourself. She says that Cordero made her kill him. I don't know. I'm not sure. Are you sure that's what happened? Sounds like maybe you just wanted to solve your problems. Anyway, she's going to be charged with murder anyway, so not like she's getting off easy. And it sounds like she'll be held accountable as well. I don't think she's getting off scot-free. So Michaela Archambault is her name. Let me see if I can find a photo of her. So Miss Michaela is the one who reckons, I was forced into shooting my ex-partner. Here's a photo of her. She seems very happy to be in a mugshot. She seems very glad to be there. Almost like she might be accepting an award. I'm here to accept my award for murder. That's what she seems to be doing. Why are you so happy? I always wonder why people are smiling when they're being charged over a crime. It's very strange. It's almost like she's way too happy to be there. She's like, "Yes, I killed my ex-partner. Oh, I'm so happy to be charged with murder." Very odd. Let me see what we can find on Michaela. There's this photo too. Here's a photo of her. Oh, she has the duck lips. Look, she's got the duck lips apparently. Let me see. Let me see if I can find anything else on these two duck nuts. Yeah.
Following some breaking news up in Platte County where sheriff's deputies are beginning a homicide investigation. These are live pictures from near the scene, the area of 45 Highway and Oberdijk Lane up in the Farley area of rural Platte County. Deputies say a man was shot to death before 8 o'clock tonight. We'll bring you updates as we get.
So that is when it happened. This video is from when they actually got to the scene of the crime back in 2022. And yeah, here's another photo of these two. There you go. Michaela and Cordero both facing much time in custody now. Much time. So apparently they were originally arrested in 2022. Apparently Michaela has pled guilty to second-degree murder on August 22nd. She's due to be sentenced at a later date. And now they're just trying to get Cordero, and they're trying to get him. Apparently, Michaela reportedly told detectives that Cordero told her he needs to go and to finish him. Okay. Cordero allegedly encouraged Michaela to shoot Hawkins due to her prior relationship with Hawkins. Ay, ay, ay. They sound like a perfect match. They're both nutcases. Yeah, both of them. Hold on. All right, sorry about that. Yeah, she definitely isn't as innocent as I think she tries to make herself out to be. I don't think you can just be like, he made me shoot him because I was banging him last week. I mean, I'm not begrudging anyone for doing that act, but I also find it strange that you're like, how did he find out? Did you just tell him? Did you like the fact that he was that mad? Are you one of these women that thrives on drama or something? It almost seems like that's how it is. She's one of these people, men and women do it, that thrive on everything being really, really crazy. Like they like when their lives are on the edge. Chipmunk says Ping has new food to try. What? No, I don't have any new food to try. No, I don't have any. I don't think I'm gonna buy that. What are duck nuts? These two. That's who. These two are duck nuts. Um. All right, Michaela. Let's look up. What else can we find about Michaela, the very stupid person? Let's find out what we can find. So, Lauren Crime reports that Cordero apparently told her that she had to be the one to kill Hawkins, and that she had to finish the ex-lover by killing him. I don't know. I don't think either of them are innocent in any of this. I think they're both, you know, I think they're both equally responsible for the murder, which is probably why she's been charged with murder. They're saying here, they according to the probable cause statement, the victim apparently believed what? All right, I'll start again. According to the probable cause statement, Hawkins and Michaela had sex with one another roughly a week before the shooting. According to the statement, the victim, Hawkins, apparently believed such non-monogamous exploits were a sign the woman was going to leave Cordero and begin a committed relationship, romantic relationship with him. I see a mutual issue in all of this. And while Cordero doesn't seem like a very good person, the person who seems to be in the middle of all this is Michaela. It doesn't seem to be either guy as such. It seems to be that she can't seem to make up which guy she wants to be with. It's like she's keeping both on a string and playing sort of each of the men off each other. So she's like, she makes one guy mad and makes the other guy mad, and then they fight over her, and that seems to be what was going on. So she'd sleep with one of them, tell the other guy that she did it, then sleep with the other guy and tell that guy that she did that. It seems like she is the common theme here. While maybe her story about Cordero is true, that he forced her to kill Hawkins, maybe, but she seems to be the majority of the issue, not the guys as such. Betsy said he didn't want to take bets on education level. Okay. Yeah, it definitely seems like Michaela might be the central theme to all of this. According to Cordero, for his part, he allegedly had other thoughts about what the prior romance between his girlfriend and Hawkins meant. He allegedly encouraged Michaela to shoot Hawkins. According to law enforcement, the purported trigger woman herself allegedly told detectives her boyfriend said he needs to go and to finish him. Okay. Both defendants are alleged to have fled the state after the shooting, and they were later arrested in Arkansas. And according to the prosecuting attorney, this was a brutal and senseless killing. They say we allege this defendant played a direct role in the death of another man and then fled the state to avoid justice. Well, I agree. Apparently, Cordero was released on probation after previously pleading guilty to one count of tampering with a motor vehicle. He is currently not in custody, and a warrant is out for his arrest. In August of 2025, Michaela pleaded guilty to all counts against her. She is slated down to be sentenced on November 14 next week. They're saying here, eventually, authorities determined that the woman, Michaela, had been less than forthcoming about the events that day. No, are you sure? Definitely seems that way. They're saying, after years of maintaining that she shot Hawkins in the back after he lunged at Cordero with a knife, Michaela admitted the jealous narrative during an interview with detectives in September of this year. The woman said the shooting occurred after a failed plan in which the couple would convince Hawkins to shoot himself. So they tried to convince him to shoot himself. According to the probable cause document, part of the plot included Michaela leaving a gun in a place where Cordero would hand the firearm to Hawkins. And they say, but she did not leave the gun as planned. Okay. What is wrong with these two? What is with this plan? If we leave a gun around, maybe he will pick it up and shoot himself. What kind of plan is that? That's probably why it never happened. So then they had to kill him. It definitely seems like no one is the lesser party to the crime here. Yeah, you don't need to be clever to commit crimes. And these two seem like they've been smoking too much of that crystalline, stuff that goes in a pipe. They seem like they've definitely been having all those amphetamines and staying up for this is the kind of plan that people come up with after they've been awake for 5 days. And they're like, yes, if we have a gun and we just leave it lying around, he'll definitely pick it up and shoot himself. Yeah, it's a great plan. Let's do that. Yeah, they are it's the weirdest story. Anyway, there is an innocent victim all this. It is Hawkins, and unfortunately Hawkins has died a few years ago now. These two are now being held responsible for it, and at least that is a positive in it. I don't have a photo of Hawkins, I don't think. 31-year-old Taylor Hawkins. I don't think I have a photo. Let me see. No, it brings up the guy that was in the rock band, the Foo Fighters, not the person in this one. Let's see. Who do they say is in this photo? Hey, buddy, go away. It might be. Maybe it's this person. Maybe it is that person. I can't quite figure it out whether that is Hawkins or Cordero. I can't. Yeah, let me have a look. I don't know. You guys tell me. Is that person in that photo a different person to this person? You guys tell me. Is the guy with the blonde hair a different person to this guy? If it is, maybe the other guy is Hawkins, but I can't quite tell. They look sorta similar, and it's hard to tell. So I don't have one. Tweakers, they are definitely tweakers. To come up with these type of plans, you need to be smoking something. Definitely. You definitely need to yeah, definitely need to be having some sort of help. Anyway, I'm going to leave that one there, but I thought I'd bring it to you because I never heard of someone who claimed that they were forced through a third party to kill their ex-partner like this. It is a strange crime. Very, very strange. All right. What else have we got to talk about? We got to talk about Chris Scholtes. Oh, Gregory Lynn. Gregory Lynn was in court again today. And I watched the appeal court this morning. It is getting very interesting in Gregory Lynn's appeal. I think he's going to win it. I think he's going to win his appeal. It definitely seems to be going in that direction through the appeal. Now, it seems to be that they are looking at whether they're going to quash the conviction and then order a retrial, or quash the conviction and let him go. And I'm not sure which one they're going to choose. That's up to the appeal court. But they are looking at a few different scenarios about, like, what if they did a retrial? What would it look like? Would they be able to do it successfully? What landscapes might change if they did order a retrial? Would prosecution look at it, like present a different type of case? That type of thing. Like, what type of the grounds for the case? Would it be different? Would they run a completely different trial? So it sounds like possibly Gregory Lynn may win this appeal, and we'll probably find out in not too much longer time, maybe next week. I think they got a couple of days this week where they're doing some stuff in the background, but I think we may be going back to trial at a minimum. At a minimum, he may go back to trial to either face one or both charges again. So they may actually quash quash the one conviction because he's not guilty on the other one. So they'll quash the one that he was convicted on, which was Carol Clay's murder. And I think we may go back to trial. I don't know if that would allow the prosecution to try for both charges again, or just the one for Carol Clay. I'm not sure, but it definitely seems to be going in that direction. Hold on. That's the way it looked like during court today. Yeah, the Herald Sun had an article today with basically what I'm telling you here too. High country killer Greg Lynn could be retried over Russell Hill's death if appeal is successful. They're saying, yeah, he could face court again, and it's been suggested in the court. That's what I heard today too. And they said here that Court of Appeal judge, so it's Judge Priest, questioned whether the prosecution would seek to retry the former Jetstar pilot on a manslaughter charge over Mr. Hill's death if the appeal was successful. Interesting. And they're saying here that the Crown prosecutor could not answer, saying it simply hadn't occurred to them. Oh my God, hold on. Look at this. I'm trying to do a job. I'm trying to tell you about court things, and a giant orange cat has decided to invade my show. Hello, orange cat. Why are you here, sir? We got work to do. Look at this. Come here. You want to jump down? Oh, Muffin. Hold on, guys. I have a cat problem. Hold on. Muffin, what are you doing? All right. All right. He left on his own own energy. Yeah, it is his show, apparently. It is Nights with Muffin, not Nights with Ping. So that was definitely one of the things asked today about what the landscape would look like if they ordered a retrial. And they're saying here, duh, duh. Yeah, so Mr. Lynn applied to the court to appeal both his conviction and the sentence, so both. And yeah, I definitely think we could definitely be heading to trial again if this is successful. And so far, the arguments I've heard from Mr. Lynn's legal team have been quite compelling. Um, and you hate to say that for someone who's involved in a case that's so famous, so um, tragic with what happened to Carol Clay and Russell Hill. But at the same time, he has legal rights to have a fair trial, to have things done correctly in the court of law, and things when some things were not done correctly, were not done in accordance with the law, and it seems like he may go back. Um, I'm just trying to see if they have more about this retrial. Yeah, let's see. Yeah. Anyway, it was a very quick court day today. We're only in there. I think it was about an hour or something today. But yeah, the prosecution was given until the close of business today to get answers to the court, and then Lynn's legal team had until end of tomorrow to have any reply to the things that the prosecution would submit to the court. So we will see, but Gregory Lynn claims his sentence of 32 years was manifestly excessive and not reasonably open in the light of his previous good character and the fact he led police to the bodies that he had disposed of and burnt. So that is his claim in court. We'll have to see. We'll have to see. But so far, it may be. Yeah, he may be retried, and we'll have to see what part of it, whether all of it, part of it, for both charges, for one charge. Yeah. So that is your update from Gregory Lynn today. Um, the possibility of a retrial, or they could quash it altogether because he's already had one not guilty verdict. If they quash the conviction for Carol Clay, he's a free man. He could theoretically be freed and allowed to be out of prison. Do I think that'll happen? Maybe not. I mean, I think they'd probably want to do the retrial to. I think that would be the preferred option, but you never know. You never know with appeal courts. It could go the other way. You follow from my accent? You know what's really weird? Someone during the trial for Aaron Patterson, they were like, "Where are you from? You're not a local." And I'm like, "I live in Melbourne. I've lived here my whole for the last 20 years, and I'm Australian anyway. I come from Sydney." So I was like, "That's a weird thing to ask me. Do you think I'm American? Like, I sound like an Australian. I'm very confused why you think I'm not from the area." It's very strange. Gayla said needs to be both. Can't just do one because they like the outcome of the other. Yeah, it sounds like they may just quash the whole thing and then try again. Would be very interesting. We may have to go back to trial for Gregory Lynn. Jojo said he covered it all up too much. I mean, when you listen to that video, his police interview, it's very damning. It really is. I'll see if I've got it. Yeah, I do.
Can you outline from the start, please?
Do you have a piece of paper?
Yep. I've got a notepad in here and pen.
Just to remind me of the dates.
Okay, so hang on.
I think if you turn that page that's folded over, you'll find that there is. No, sorry, if I can just.
Can you outline?
I can't. I got in very late. The Howard Hut was full.
Yep.
I actually met a family there, and I asked them, "Do you know of any other places to camp?" This was getting dark. They said there was a campsite just to the west of the Zika Spur Trap, near another bushwalking track. I can't remember the name of the place.
Is that up towards the King Billy bit?
Veloccio,
Yeah, okay, yeah.
I think that's how you pronounce it.
Oh, that's a hut there, isn't it?
The hut is about 5 k's to the
Yeah,
north,
Yeah.
but that's a car park to go to the hut.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I stayed there that night. This family also told me that the Zika Spur track was heavily eroded, washed away,
Mm-hmm.
and that would be quite difficult to get down into Wollongong, which was my plan.
Yeah.
So that night I stayed
Yeah.
Next morning I went stalking by myself down into the valley to the west of
He's so calm. He's so calm when he's talking. Like, you would think he's just telling you about his weekend away in the countryside. He's like, yeah, so I went up here and I was camping up in this corner of the country. You know, I got into a fight and I shot a guy. I shot a woman. And then I had a knife fight with a guy and he died too. You know, all in all, a pretty weird weekend, but it was all right. I'd do it again. I'd head out to the countryside, bury a couple of people again under a tree. Why not? You know, it's a great outdoor activity. He's just really calm. Really, really calm. Some people say it might be because he's a pilot, but are all pilots capable of doing this?
of the dry river Wollongong Junction. It was empty, but I thought I'd have a look at some other sites. I came down and had a look at the campsite just to the east of the Wollongong Junction. That was a pretty one as well. She looked quite alarmed in the car, and he jumped out. He was very jovial. Yak, 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 yak. The others who was recently killed deer hunting. All open, just now, and as I left the fire.
He's taken from your.
All open. By this stage, and as I come into the, so it's just on dinner time. As I come into the camp, look, I didn't know where this drone was from, but as I come into the camp, where I was, unloaded rifle, but still in hand, this guy walks out over to here, on the other side of his car,
Mm-hmm.
the controller in hand, drone sitting on the ground, zips the drone up, and it just hovers there for about 10 seconds, straight back down, puts it under his arm, and took it back to his camp. I thought, what the hell is this? What's going on?
Mm-hmm.
Drones are cameras.
Yeah,
They're
of
flying
course,
cameras.
yeah.
And so I didn't go and confront him over this straight away. I sat down and I just thought about it for a while. What's this all about? And I was getting my dinner ready. Then I decided to go and find out what this drone incident is all about. So I walked up there, unarmed, and I asked him why he was using the drone, and he said that he didn't like deer hunters, and that he had some video footage of him now hunting,
Anyway, I just wanted to show you a little bit of it. Hold on. All right, apparently interruptions galore tonight. Yeah, he is very calm, very calm. Rachel said he's so calm, just like he's telling a story. I know. So Chipmunk said I would have fell asleep watching this video in the trial. I can't remember if they played this in the trial. They probably did, but I can't remember. I hear Morning says you don't get much snow. Okay. Well, that is basically your update for Gregory Lynn, is that we should watch very carefully what happens with the rest of this appeal. And it was interesting that the prosecution was asked whether they would consider a manslaughter charge, which was something that I think a lot of people wondered about at the trial, whether that would be something that would happen, but they never did at the trial. They just were like, it's murder or nothing. And they're saying here, the Victorian Court of Appeal has asked the Office of Public Prosecutions if it would amend its hand, including on whether a manslaughter charge would be laid in the event Gregory Lynn was retried over the killing of an elderly camper. And they're saying here, yeah, in a short hearing today, mostly dedicated to hearing submissions about his bid for a shorter sentence, should his appeal against his conviction fail. But the Court of Appeal judge also told the OPP to make clear whether Lynn would be charged with manslaughter rather than murder should his appeal succeed and a retrial be ordered. They also sought clarity on whether the OPP should seek to use the motive of Lynn killing either Clay or Hill for the slaying of the other person who would have witnessed the death of the other. So, yeah, so we will probably have to wait a while to find out what's going on with this. We'll have to, I'm not sure when we will find out. Maybe it has it at the end. Yeah, so his argument on whether the sentence was manifestly excessive based around things like his age, I think they were not going to be proceeding with that. The appeal judges didn't seem very compelled with that particular argument, so I don't think we're going to hear anything about that one. All right, guys. I think I'm almost done. We almost got through all the updates that I wanted to get through. So I think we're just about done for the night. It's sort of a quick one, but we had a lot of different updates. Oh, Joanna Brown. Hold on. Joanna. There hasn't been a crazy amount of updates in that one, but there has been a small update, and I will bring it to you if you give me a second.
Absolutely shocked. You never think it's going to happen in your community. Now to developing news out of Worcester. A woman who went missing Friday morning and was believed to be in danger was found dead. Now, city officials are mourning her loss amid this ongoing investigation.
Western Mass News reporter Madison Lasowski now joins us live from the Worcester Police Department with those details. Madison.
Yeah, Chris and Amanda, just 2 days after 30-year-old Joanna Brown was reported missing, police shared the unfortunate news that her body was found in her car Monday evening. On your screens now is a photo of Brown, who was last seen Friday morning at around 9 a.m. at her job at the bean counter on Grove Street here in Worcester. Now, Worcester police regretfully reporting that Brown was found Monday evening in the area of 27 Mount Vernon Street, an apartment complex right next to a park. Brown was found in her Mitsubishi Outlander. While Brown's death is still under investigation by the Worcester County District Attorney's Office and the Worcester Police Detective Bureau, members of the community, whether they knew Brown or not, all shocked by the details of this case. Amy Nichols, a regular at the bean counter where Brown worked, brought flowers to the cafe, showing love to Brown's co-workers who were unable to speak with us on camera at this time. Nichols, however, sharing with Western Mass News that ordering her cinnamon stick with Brown was a scheduled part of her everyday life.
The greatest thing that we can do as a community is just let them know that we care.
They They were unable to speak with us on camera today as well. However, they say that this investigation is most certainly still ongoing. Now, however, if you have any information related to this investigation, you are asked to contact Worcester Police. That number is at the bottom of your screens right now, 508-799-8606. In the meantime, coming up in our 6 o'clock hour, you'll hear more from that customer who is still in shock following this devastating turn of events. For now, reporting live in Worcester, Madison Lisowski, Western Mass News.
There you go. A lot of community sadness at the death of their barista and the lady who worked at their local coffee shop. Seems like half the town knew her, but so far cops are staying very tight-lipped about like what's going on. All they're saying is that her case is definitely being investigated, that they are 100% continuing an investigation into her death. So it's not like they've given up and they're just sending it to the coroner. They are still 100% looking into how and the circumstances surrounding how she ended up in the back of her own car and not alive. See, as for police, they were unable to speak with the news station on camera. However, they say the investigation is most certainly ongoing, and they asked if anyone had any information related to her death. You are asked to call the Worcester Police Department at 508-799-8607. 8606. So they are still appealing for information. If anyone saw her in the few days when she left work on the Friday to when they found her body on the Monday, they're still looking for people who may have any idea about what's going on with her. Hey, Spicy, how are you? Yeah, I did see the car explosion in New York. I did see that. Kathy said, can you give us an update on the UPS crash? I don't think I have very much, except for they kept finding, unfortunately, people overnight. I think it got up to 11 people overnight, the death toll, which is really sad that they kept finding people all through the night. That means they must have found people who weren't associated with the aircraft who unfortunately died in the crash. It's really, really sad. I'm just trying to find here. So they're saying that the black boxes for that crash, the UPS plane in Louisville, they have recovered them. And the death toll has now risen from 11 to 12. And the thing I heard this morning, apparently there is footage, CCTV footage of the airplane losing its engine on the runway. And you have to ask, how would an airplane just lose its engine? Like, how would it just fall off? And that's basically what they were saying, is that it just fell off. It was detached or becoming detached from the wing during takeoff. Like, that's a huge, like, you've seen a jumbo jet engine. They're not tiny, and this thing was just falling off. It's really concerning. All right, that's the only update I have for you. The death toll has risen, and they're still investigating the causes of the crash itself. So I will leave that with you tonight. And it's almost 5:30, which means I have to go. Unfortunately, Trish got done very, very late today, so we had a very short show this afternoon. Sean said no mail from you. No, I got it. I don't have it. Someone else does. I have to go get it from them. It looks like a book, and I don't know if it is, but they sent me a photo saying, "Hey, this was the package," and it sort of looks like a book. I don't know if it is or not. It could be something else. I'll tell you when I have it, and we can open it on the air. I don't know. I'm not sure. Yeah, you're welcome. It's not a book. It looks like a book. I don't know what it is. I'll have to wait and see, but definitely the photo of it, it looked like a book. Hey, to the person who's just sent in a donation, Deborah, thank you so much. I appreciate it. It's very kind of you. It's very sweet of you. I will be back tomorrow. We'll be back for an early show tomorrow. Just today we were unable to do it. I had a meeting I had to go to. So giant pins that don't break, that is true. Yes, good night, everyone. Yes, thank you to that person. That was very sweet of you. Very kind to our friend Deborah. Thank you for supporting the channel tonight. I appreciate it. Sorry, if I don't go now, I'm going to be really late. So I got to go. But I will be back tomorrow for the earlier time show. And then hopefully we'll still do a late show tomorrow too. So yes, I'll be back tomorrow. I love you all. Have a good night out there. See you later. Bye.
Leather jacket feeling cold against your skin. Running through the chaos, letting all the sin. Temptation in a bottle, ready for the night. Craving for the thrill, it's time to ignite. Dark desire.